I welcome you to the 35th Anniversary Awards Dinner of the Tyler Prize for Environmental Achievement. I'm Owen Lind. I am fortunate enough to chair the Executive Committee of the Tyler Prize, the Executive Committee that has brought you this wonderful weather that we have enjoyed today, courtesy of the Tyler Prize. We are here to enjoy the fine hospitality of this hotel, but we're here primarily to honor these Tyler laureates. Dr. Mooney, Dr. Galloway, we are so delighted to have you with us this evening, and we're honored by your presence. We're grateful for those of you who have come to help us share in this honoring ceremony, and we extend a welcome to each of you, and I'm sure you will enjoy a very pleasant evening with us this evening. The Tyler Prize was originally established in 1972 by John and Alice Tyler, people who had become attuned to the environmental needs of the country a long time ago. You realize in the 1970s, this was quite a new thing to be thought of in terms of being concerned about our environment. They had a particular appreciation for nature and for the out of doors, and as part of this, they decided that they wanted to honor and bestow recognition upon individuals who are making significant contributions for first identifying the world's environmental problems and then offering solutions to those problems. Consequently, the Tyler Prize is the oldest and the single most coveted award that recognizes environmental achievement around the world. The reputation of this prize is high, but it would only be high because it is based upon the outstanding record of the previous Tyler laureates. I invite you to take your programs and look at the list of laureates. You'll see an extraordinarily distinguished group of men and women who have served us well in this country and have served us well around the world. Over the past 34 years, we've honored 60 Tyler laureates. Their work has encompassed a very broad spectrum. If you look through this list, you'll see a tremendous diversity of things covered: air pollution, water pollution, environmental health, general ecosystem degradation, agricultural linkages with the environmental crisis, global climate change, conservation biology, biodiversity, and we could go on and on and on. Tonight, we're honoring our 61st and 62nd awardees. Professor Harold Mooney and Dr. James Galloway are highly distinguished and no less passionate or dedicated than those who have preceded them. Their work, for which they're receiving the Tyler Prize, has been to make significant contributions to Earth system science through research on local and global impacts, and also through alerting the international community to the environmental consequences of environmental modifications. Yesterday, at the University of Southern California, they provided delightful technical talks that stimulated the thinking of many young people, as well as some of us older folks who were present at that time. It's with such contacts that we hope the next generation of people will come forth, people who in the future will be recipients of the Tyler Prize. Alice Tyler, who is, of course, one of the founders of the prize, referred to the laureates as heroes. She referred to them as guardians of the future, and indeed they are. Every year when we gather to make these awards to our new laureates, we are honoring the memory of John and Alice Tyler and their foresight and their generosity in establishing this prize. The problems that they saw 36 years ago have not gone away, and in fact, many of them are more pressing today than they were at that time. The Executive Committee welcomes each of you who have come to help us honor Professors Mooney and Galloway. I'll take a few moments right now to introduce to you some people, and initially I would like to introduce and thank my colleagues on the Executive Committee. This is an incredibly accomplished and qualified group of people. These are people who give of themselves selflessly. That's a hard word to get out, isn't it? How much wine did I have over there? Without compensation, except the knowledge that they are making a difference. Hours and hours are spent reviewing nomination materials, gathering at meetings to make decisions, and finally coming up with always and effectively a delightful recognition each year. Let me ask them, as I call their names, to stand and remain standing, and then we will recognize them collectively after all are standing. First, Dr. Robert Frosch. Robert Frosch is a senior fellow in the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard, and also a senior scientist at Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution. Dr. Arturo Gomez Pompa. He's emeritus university professor at the University of California, Riverside, and professor at the University of Veracruz, Mexico. He also is the 1994 Tyler Prize laureate. Dr. Ralph Mitchell. Gordon McKay Professor of Applied Biology at Harvard University. One of the most senior members on the committee in terms of service, for the committee. He and I have been at each other for 35 years now and enjoyed every minute of it. Dr. Rosina Bierbaum, Dean of the School of Natural Resources at the University of Michigan. Dr. Jonathan Samet, Professor and Chair of the Bloomberg School of Public Health at the Johns Hopkins University. Dr. Cornelius Sullivan, former Vice Provost for Research at the University of Southern California. Unable to join us this evening are Dr. Sherwood Rowland, the Donald Bren Professor of Chemistry at the University of California in Irvine, a 1983 Tyler Prize laureate, and a 1995 Nobel laureate in chemistry. Sherry is in Egypt this evening and could not join us. Also, Dr. Judith McDowell, Chair of the Biology Department of Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution. Just a couple of days ago, Judith had an accident and is off her legs. She has a bad ankle now and was unable to join us. We miss them both. But let's thank these people who have worked so diligently. At this time, it's also appropriate for us to pause for a moment and recognize some past members of the Tyler Prize family. These are members whom we have lost to death in this past year. First, our dear friend and executive committee colleague for many years, and a close friend of Alice Tyler's, close friend and confidant of Alice Tyler's, I should say, Frank Clark, passed just last month. Also, we have lost two Tyler laureates. The 2002 laureate, Professor Tung-Shung Lee of Peking University in Beijing, and the 1989 laureate, Professor Ed Goldberg of Scripps Institution of Oceanography. We missed all of them. There are many others here this evening who we should recognize. I will not do nearly everyone who deserves it, but I do want to call attention to a few more. It's my pleasure to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Paul Lividary, trustee of the Alice Tyler Perpetual Trust. Paul, where are you? It's not here? I'm sorry, he was supposed to be here. The Alice Tyler Perpetual Trust is another aspect of Alice Tyler's charitable interest. The trust particularly recognizes the needs of children and makes contributions in many aspects, particularly related to the needs of children. Items also that were close to Alice Tyler's heart. There is also of course, contingents from the families, friends, colleagues of tonight's laureates. I'd like to ask some of them to stand. However, we have just learned that Dr. Galloway's father, who we were going to recognize this evening, has been taken to the hospital and I understand is stable and nothing critical, apparently at this time, but we were hoping to be able to meet and recognize him, the Reverend Mr. Douglas Vest. And Dr. Best's wife, Norveen, here? Yes, I understand you came in from the hospital. Thank you. Will the other friends and guests of the Galloways, people who have come to honor them, please stand so that we can see you? Welcome. Dr. Mooney has many friends, former students, colleagues here this evening. We certainly want to recognize this contingent as well. Would you stand, please, wherever you are? Dr. Mooney, Sarouche, please, get it all over. Thank you for coming. Now, before I proceed with the actual awards presentation, it's my pleasure to present to you Dr. Michael Quick. Dr. Quick is Executive Vice Dean of the College of Letters, Arts, and Sciences at the University of Southern California, and I invite him to join me in welcoming each of you to this evening's festivities. Mike?
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of University of Southern California President Stephen B. Sample, Provost C.L. Max Nikias, and College of Letters, Arts, and Sciences Dean Howard Gilman, I want to add my welcome to all of you on this very special evening to honor the recipients here at the 35th Annual Tyler Prize for Environmental Achievement. Owen did a wonderful job of recognizing many of our esteemed guests this evening, but I also personally wish to add my appreciation to Owen, to the members of the Tyler Prize Executive Committee, to the members of the Tyler Perpetual Trust, my gratitude for all that you do for us. I also wish to extend a special welcome to many of the distinguished scientists in the audience and to the families and friends of this year's recipients. Welcome to all of you. I also want to thank several people. First, I want to thank my parents for making my presence here this evening possible. More importantly, I wish to thank some of the people at USC who have worked incredibly hard to make tonight's event so special. I want to thank Linda Duguay, the Executive Director of the Tyler Prize, and Ruth Dudas for her administrative work that she did this year. I especially wish to thank Sue Anderson for the amazing job she did for the Tyler Prize over the years. Sue, I wish you all the best in your new capacity at USC. The University of Southern California, and especially the College of Letters, Arts, and Sciences, is very honored to be the host of this year's Tyler Prize, a role we have played since 1980. As a university, we try to live up to the vision espoused by John and Alice Tyler, so we continue to be deeply committed to scholarship, to advocacy, to outreach on behalf of environmental issues, not only for the present generation, but for future generations as well. USC has made a point of bringing together scholars from the natural sciences, the social sciences, and engineering to tackle many issues related to the environment. Such interdisciplinary efforts are exemplified by the establishment a dozen years ago of the Wrigley Institute for Environmental Studies. It is also reflected in our deep involvement with the Wrigley Marine Science Center on Catalina Island, the Southern California Earthquake Center at USC, and our academic programs of earth sciences, geobiology, marine biology, and environmental science. But a core mission of USC is also that of outreach, and we are very proud that the faculty involved in the programs that I just mentioned to you also find value in community education, from K through gray, as we say in the lifelong learning business. Of course, I want to turn my attention to the reason we're all here tonight, and that is to recognize our 2008 Tyler Prize laureates, James Galloway and Harold Mooney. Their body of work in understanding both natural and human impact on the environment is not only great scholarship, but it is vital to our future and to the future of our planet. But enough about them, let's talk about me. I was born in Los Angeles in 1962. My parents lived in Canoga Park at the time. See, I bet you didn't think I was really going to do this. But since I only have an hour for my talk, let me jump ahead to the present day. I'm a neuroscientist by training, and I actually love talking about the brain. So, if I were to take your head and with your body and stick it in a brain scanner, and I told you to think about this word, baboon, what we would see in the scanner is a little seed, just a little part of the brain in your language center of your brain light up. And that would then travel to the memory areas of your brain. And you would start thinking about what you know about baboons. You would think about what they look like, what they sound like, and the areas of your visual cortex and the areas of your auditory cortex would light up. And pretty soon the entire brain would be actively processing images of that baboon. The take-home message is not that our honorees are baboons, but rather their work is great in the same way that a single word can be a tiny spark of energy that causes an entire system, in this case the brain, to light up. These men are being honored in part for their role in being sparks that ignited the field of environmental system science. Their science showed how local environmental changes can have global ecosystem effects. And their work in the policy arena demonstrated their ability to work not just locally, but to spark global communities aimed at solving our most pressing environmental problems. So please, join me in raising your glasses. Tonight, it is my privilege to salute the 61st and 62nd, although I don't know which, awardees of the Tyler Prize for Environmental Achievement, James Galloway, Harold Mooney. Gentlemen.